the Ulu knife. This curved blade that dates back thousands of years is still very useful today in my own kitchen, and this is what I'm going to talk about. This is a significant piece of Alaskan history, but what's really interesting about it is how useful it is even thousands of years later. People are still using it, and I've been using it in my own kitchen. I discovered it on a recent trip to Alaska. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the Ulu and show you how I use it with a very specific curved cutting board that can come with it depending on where you get one. The indigenous people of Alaska, of course, lived off of the land, and everything that they did, everything they wore, everything they ate, everything they traveled by had to be fashioned from nature. And so in order to create even the simplest article, the indigenous craftsmen invented many interesting practical tools, and many of which are still in use today, like this Ulu knife. It was their main cutting tool, and it was originally made from flat, thin rocks or slate. So this curved steel blade that you're seeing now of stainless steel used to be actually rock. The handles were fashioned from out of wood or ivory or bone. This one is made of elk antler, I believe. And then this one also came with a holder, so you can display it like so. This is an especially nice piece that archaeologists estimate to be well over 3,000 years old. Many of the ancient Ulus are in private collections or museums, and then there's some still being made by companies in Alaska, like the Ulu factory where I visited. Now, if you get one, you want to get these, they make great gifts. The holidays are coming up. Be sure to get one from somewhere legitimate like the Ulu factory, because there are a lot of knockoff versions. For centuries, the indigenous people have been using these blades for skinning seals and even sewing. Now, as time progressed and whaling ships became more and more common in Alaskan waters, they took advantage of the different materials, and that's when the steel blade was introduced. Now, they did have different sizes depending on what they would use it for. So, smaller Ulus would probably be used for some stuff like sewing or cutting out patterns from animal skins. But then an Ulu with a 6-inch blade, like this one, would be used for more general purposes. Occasionally, you can find blades as large as 12 inches, so almost twice the size as this one. It's also easier to use a Ulu one-handed, where in contrast, like a steak knife kind of requires a fork. Ulu knives have even been used for other things other than cutting, like cultural symbolism. They are so significant to Alaskans' history that they have been presented to people who have accomplished things. Like if they accomplished something in sports or education, they would be presented an Ulu for that recognition. Like in the Arctic Winter Games, they would present a gold, silver, and bronze Ulu to that athlete. So pretty interesting. This is how you hold it, like in one hand. You just go like that, and you can actually, a lot of times, like if you're in person picking one out, I actually felt how they feel. Some people like a little bit smaller grip maybe, and other people like maybe a little bit larger one depending on the size of your hand. It's really easy to grip. You hold it like this, and then you just roll over whatever it is you're cutting. So I'm gonna get the cutting board real quick and show you how neat these cutting boards are, and like what I really like to use these for, because they actually make certain things easier than just using a regular cutting board. At the Ulu factory in Anchorage, where I purchased my knife, they also offer these cutting boards that were really cool. One side is flat, and the other side has this curve to it where the blade kind of fits in. So what I love about this is you can put something in here and chop it up, and it will stay in here, versus sometimes when I'm chopping things on a regular cutting board, it'll just kind of go everywhere. This curve, this bowl-like shape in the cutting board will keep things more controlled. Let's start with a carrot. This is something that you could do with the curved part, but a carrot, something like this, I'd probably just do with the flat part. So I'll demonstrate that first. Now this is just on the flat side. You start like this, hold it in one hand, and just kind of roll it. Just like that. Boom. And you can't even just go straight down if you want, but that can make a little bit more of a mess. So rolling it tends to keep things together. I'll go to the other side. I think this is a good thing to demonstrate in the bowl. If you just want to chop up celery, I'm going to put 2 of them in here. See, really can just keep chopping and the celery will stay in one place. Do an onion here. Thank you, Alaska. There you have it. Pretty cool, pretty fun. You may even find that it's more fun to use than just using a regular knife, and maybe it'll make cooking more fun for you. So yeah, I gotta find a way to eat everything I just cut now, and thanks for tuning into this little show and tell. Take care.